Both the first readings and the gospel talks about growing, growth. And this beautiful letter of St. Paul to the Ephesians actually not only encouraging them, but St. Paul had a very high regard of the people of Ephesus, the Ephesians. And in this particular part of his letter, he was talking about the direction. Now, direction of the people at that time was to go to God, to go to a place where the Lord is going to ascend, to be with the Lord in fulfilling everything. That is where we are going up in the end. Then he added this very beautiful thing, and he described the people there that all of us have different talents. There are pastors, there are teachers, different kinds of ministries, healer, or whatever gifts. These are all gifts from the Lord to help building up the body of church, the Christ. Well, part of this, we belong to one church, and when we build one another, all of us will grow. We help one another in growing. So the idea is, if left to ourselves alone, sometimes it's even impossible. But when we think that we belong to one another, we belong to a community, so we are helping one another, there is a complementarity between us, then this is what St. Paul is describing the people of Ephesians. You are in the right track, because when you help one another, when everybody will be contributing their talents, then we will be building the church. We help build it up, including ourselves, including our own personal life, building ourselves to become part of God. Now this is actually connected also, we can say that, in the gospel today, because in the parable Jesus is telling us, he was an owner, he has a fig tree. You know, a fig tree, these are small fruits, and they use this for oil. It's a very important tree in the part in Palestine. He was planting a fig tree, and the owner, after 3 years, noticed that there was no fruit. He was observing this for 3 years. Maybe he planted it already sometime, but he was observing there was no fruit. So he decided that he told the gardener, cut it off. It's just wasting the soil, exhausting the richness of the soil. It's useless. But then the gardener made this remark to the owner, sir, you give me 1 year, I will cultivate it, water it, fertilize it, maybe it will bear fruit. And if not, then we cut it out. It's a very good illustration or for us to reflect regarding ourselves. The first one is, of course, regarding our spiritual life, who we are. So as we grow, when we grow, or we are dying, there are two things in us, in any plant, either we grow or we die. There's such thing as arrested growth, but only for a very, very short time. Later on, either you grow or you die, or you'll be cut off. That's the reality of life. So there are some things we can gather from this. The first one is the owner. He is planting this for a purpose. All of us are being created by God for a purpose. And of course, he would always be saying to it that there's always a time for everything. Sometimes the owner said, it's too much, it's wasting my time, and it's useless anymore, you are not growing, so you should be cut off. Sometimes, or many times, you are like this. Sometimes you are very impatient. When we find that nothing is happening, immediately we can make this conclusion, it's useless, then I go. There's nothing here, there's no meaning. We hear that many times. I don't get anything good. It's a very common experience that we have when you are doing something. So this kind of thinking is what the owner is planning, because he's also thinking of his ground. He could have another one, he could plant another one to this ground, and it might bear fruit. And there is all the thinking of the other one, the gardener. Maybe the gardener is very close to he's a gardener, so he knows. So he was begging the owner, please sir, give me 1 year. I will put more fertilizer, I'll take care of this. Give me 1 year. If not, we got it all. Today we are having your retreat, and that's a very good time. A time like this moment when you come, am I growing or I am not? Is my life wasted or not? And it's a very good thing that we have from time to time, and that is the purpose of a retreat, to pause, to think, and what is happening to me? Ask ourselves what's happening to me. Otherwise, if we do not, then worse things can happen. We will be cut off. We have our desire to be with God. Suddenly, nothing is happening. So we can say that, we can ask question, then what am I going to do? And this is what the gardener is telling the owner, that if we notice there is something wrong, we have to do something about it. And that's why I said, give me time. So time is a very important element in our existence. We can waste time, and in the end, then we will be overtaken by time, then wala na. Wala na, nothing is happening. Or we can think like this retreat, mayroon pa ba akong magagawa? Can I still do something about it? Can I fertilize it more? And there are many things we can do if you look at it positively. People who are very positive in their outlook in life will always have a very good result at the end. It's no good to be very pessimistic in life. And that is sometimes we do. But the gospel today is telling us not only that we will try to participate, we need our participation, but also we believe in God. God will always help us. He will never abandon us. So there is trust, and there is our effort. We do this, then this is exactly what the Lord is telling us.